Good morning, Europe. Thank you for starting your day with us. Here's a look at Tuesday's top stories.
Residents of Sloviansk fear an imminent Russian takeover after Moscow seized the whole of the Luhansk region and is now setting its sights on Donetsk. A 22-year-old has been arrested in Chicago on suspicion of carrying out a mass shooting at a 4th of July parade, killing 6 and injuring many more. And Italy's Prime Minister blames climate change for Sunday's deadly avalanche in the Alps. He says the government must take action as the search for the missing continues.
After claiming a major victory by seizing control of the entire eastern Luhansk region, Russian forces are now pushing into neighbouring Donetsk. The town of Sloviansk is directly in their path. Locals there are anxious as the Russians approach.
I don't know. I think it's only going to get worse. I don't even know. I'm already thinking about leaving. It would be wise not to expect things to get better.
On the outskirts of now Russian-controlled Lysychansk, retreating Ukrainian troops are tired and frustrated with their outdated weapons. One soldier who was mending his broken tank was asked, "How was it in Lysychansk?" "It was hell," he says, "but we will take it back." Another shows an old machine gun that was reportedly used in the fight against the Russians. "Come and see," he says. It dates from 1944. It's written there. Ukraine's allies have promised modern weapons, which have begun to arrive on the front line, but perhaps not fast enough. In Kyiv, Ukraine's President Zelensky welcomed the latest high-ranking official to show his country's support, Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson. Sweden is now formally applying for NATO membership, and Andersson stated that once a member, she would back an open-door policy to admit more countries.
It's hard to focus on sports when your country is at war. International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv, discussing further sports aid and support to the country. He met with around 100 Ukrainian sportsmen and women, listening to their first-hand accounts of training and competing with the country in crisis.
We want not only to tell them, we want to show them, we want to experience them that they are never alone in the Olympic community, that we are with them, with our hearts, with our thoughts every day.
Bach has committed to tripling the aid from the IOC to Ukraine to a total of over €7 million. And it will be sorely needed. This used to be a bustling basketball arena. Much like other infrastructure in this country, sporting areas have borne the full brunt of Vladimir Putin's war.
A massive manhunt for a gunman who shot dead 6 people at a US Independence Day parade in Chicago has ended with the arrest of a 22-year-old suspect. An officer reportedly detained him in his car about 8 kilometres north of the scene of the shooting in Highland Park. Police have released a photo and the name of the man they were looking for. He's Robert E. Cremo III.
The person of interest is now being taken to the Highland Park Police Department, where we're going to begin the next phase of the investigation.
The gunman opened fire from a rooftop at a spot on the parade route where many residents had staked out prime viewing points early in the day. Dozens of bullets sent people running for their lives, leaving a trail of abandoned items.
I just remember seeing smoke on the ground. We were literally close by to where it all happened. I remember hearing shootings and going and then reloading and then again, and people screaming and running.
I thought that it was the Navy that was saluting the flag with the rifles, but then when I saw people running, I picked up my son and I started running.
Dozens of people were injured, all but one had gunshot wounds. Their ages range from 8 to 85. 2 people remain in hospital in a stable condition.
As many across the United States celebrate Independence Day, others are dealing with ineffable tragedy, as the latest mass shooting has left at least 6 people dead and dozens more injured. Police say they have arrested the lead person of interest in connection with that crime. 22-year-old Robert Bobby Cremo III was apprehended during a traffic stop in a town about 15 minutes away from the crime scene. Police say a gunman camped out on top of a rooftop and fired down on paraders using a high-powered rifle. The victims' ages range between 8 and 85 years old. Upon hearing about the incident, in an address to the nation for Independence Day, U.S. President Joe Biden said he was shocked but grateful for first responders at the scene. In the town of Highland Park, Illinois, about 30 minutes outside the city of Chicago, some areas are still being treated like a crime scene. Residents are still trying to come to terms with what happened, and police say there hasn't been a motive named as of yet. So far this year, the U.S. has experienced about 300 mass shootings and about 15 mass killings. For Euronews, Colin Campbell, Washington.
The US president's traditional July 4 address, this time overshadowed by another mass shooting. Joe Biden began Independence Day by sharing a message that looked to the country's future, but quickly responded to the Illinois attack, where at least 6 people were gunned down during a local parade. This is a president with a lot on his plate. There's also a war in Europe, and at home, the Supreme Court has overturned abortion rights.
Our economy is growing, but not without pain. Liberty is under assault both here and abroad. In recent days, there's been reason to think that this country is moving backward, that freedom is being reduced, that rights we assumed were protected are no longer. A reminder that we remain in an ongoing battle for the soul of America, as we have for over 200 years.
Biden's popularity has stumbled recently, with approval ratings sitting at just around 40% as the November midterms inch closer. So this was also a chance to mention a few plus points.
We're reclaiming our way of life in a pandemic. Vaccines are nearly available to every American. Restrictions lifted the 4th of July, together again at the White House. And for all the challenges, America has the strongest economy in the world.
Biden held a moment of silence at the White House for the victims of the US's latest shooting, before calling on Americans to fight for democracy and vowing to end what he calls the epidemic of gun violence.
Multiple protesters have been arrested for driving too slowly during rolling roadblocks demonstrating against high fuel prices. They targeted several major roads in England, Scotland and Wales, including the M4 and M5 motorways, driving in slow convoys across 2 out of 3 lanes. Motorists face major disruption with long queues and road closures.
Blink again and it still won't go away. This is a massive rubbish patch in Manaus, the main city of the Brazilian Amazon. In São Jorge, a shanty town west of the city centre, a bulldozer is fighting a losing battle against people illegally disposing of their rubbish. It's the easy, horrible option for residents.
The people who live on the edges here throw garbage straight into the streams. Few people put it in the trash. I think just about 20%. The rest throw everything into the creek. It's people who don't help preserve nature.
And all this water and rubbish flows straight into the Amazon River.
The population still needs to care for society because all this rubbish can pollute our local river, the Rio Negro, which is very rich in our city. So the population's awareness would be very helpful for our city.
It's easy to forget that Manaus is in the lungs of the world, surrounded by flora and fauna. Between January and May this year, the local municipality collected an eye-watering 4,500 tons of rubbish in local rivers. In some parts, it's so thick you can't even see the water. And, according to authorities, it's getting worse every year.
You're watching Good Morning Europe. Do stay with us. Lots more to come on the programme.